Welcome back to another edition of Garage Talk. A day late and a dollar short. We are here for Garage Talk. I'm joined today by a very special guest, a man on a mission, a man that has a big event this week. It's Mr. IDK Player from YouTube, iRacing extraordinaire, and talker into microphone. IDK, can I call you IDK for short?
Yeah, you can call me that. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's what everyone calls me. I know the player takes way too long, so they're just like IDK.
Oh, dude, we're happy to have you on the show. Before we get started talking about what's going on this week and learn a little bit more about IDK Player, got to go ahead and give a shout out to the people that pay the bills here. So shout out to Hooters. Right now, if you get over to hooterstogo.com or you download the Hooters app and use promo code GarageGuys, you can save $10 off any order, $30 or more. That's right. We save you $10. It's Christmas time. It's a season of giving. Give someone $10. You don't even have to give them a real $10. You just give them the code and tell them to go to Hooters and use it. All right. And there's no fine print guy here. Dale is busy studying and studying driving right now. We'll say that. So a little hint at what we're going to talk about, but have to do the fine print myself. Valid at participating locations for delivery and carry out orders only. Hooters to go, promo code Garage Guys, save $10 off any order, $30 or more. That was my plug. Did you like it?
Oh, I love it. I'll use it when I go to Hooters again.
Heck yeah, that's what we're all about. I mean, you're actually in Florida, so Hooters is like Florida is like the capital of Hooters because they started in Florida. Yes, so it's a good thing. It's a good thing always. So yes, go eat Hooters. And I think we have a Hooters car. It's going to be racing in an event that you have.
We do. Yeah.
This weekend. And it's actually Dale.
And it looks nice. Like I've already seen it. And I was like, whoa.
That car is sexy.
It reminds me of the Flint Tropics from Semi-Pro.
Yes. I haven't got to ask him yet, but I was going to ask him that. And now that it's on the show, I'm sure I'm going to ask him before this drops. If I talk to him, I might not even speak to him. He may be just so zoned in. I guarantee you right now, he's probably in his living room at his rig. And he's probably got the Dale Earnhardt goggles on with a helmet, like a bike helmet. Like seriously, he gets all into it. But I know he's excited about this event that you have coming up. Let's go ahead and just talk about that. So obviously you're in iRacing. This event that's on Friday is going to be the World 600, which is going to be what we may know now as the largest event in iRacing known to man, mainly because it's called the World 600. So we got into a conversation about what that meant. So I want you to kind of just walk us through what World 600 means and what this event on iRacing you're hoping to do with it moving forward.
Yeah, so we actually had other venues that we wanted to go to before Daytona because we've already done 2 events so far at Daytona. And when we were thinking about names, we were like, okay, our last event, the NWP 400, which was the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, they sponsored. It was a huge event, like 16,000 showed up. And we're like, what can we do to step that up when it comes down to production, when it can come down to the name, a marketable name. And at first we were talking about possibly heading to the National Fairgrounds, because at the time I really saw the National Fairgrounds as an opportunity to have an event. And, the viewers liked it, but I feel like we were just a little bit too far ahead of our time for going to the fairgrounds for an event. So we're like, okay, we'll move that till 2022. What about Indianapolis? Indianapolis, it's the most famous racetrack in the world, one of the most historic racetracks in the world. That could be the site of a World 600. And people were like, why don't you just go to Charlotte? The World 600 in real life was held at Charlotte and technically still is, just now Coca-Cola. And we were like, yeah, I mean, we could do that. But when looking at iRacing, not just from a driver standpoint, but from an entertainment standpoint for the viewers, we don't think Charlotte with the cars that we wanted to use would have fit, it would just not fit for us. Right. And we're like, okay, what else could we have done? So we're looking all over America. And I thought, wait a minute, Daytona, the world center of racing. Why don't we have the World 600 at the world center of racing? It fits world, but 600. Everyone's like, you're going to do 600 miles at Daytona. Are you crazy? And I was like, no, we'll stop there. We'll do
It'd be a little
$600
crazy, but it's
payout.
worth it.
Yeah, we'll do a $600 payout so we can have the title World 600 make sense. And we'll do 160 laps, which is actually 400 miles. And I believe that's entwined with what they did back in August, where, the Coke Zero 400, we're doing 400 miles. And we're like, okay, that's it. We got it. And we'll move the other events that we wanted back. So now we're like, okay, Indianapolis was a great idea. Now we're actually getting people to work with how can we add the car tomorrow with Indy to do a Brickyard 400 in May, possibly. And then, Nashville Fairgrounds are like, okay, what can we do to bring the historic track to iRacing for an event under the NR9 America name? So we have these tracks that we put on the line of, we might do this, kind of shelved it to the side, but we do plan on going to those tracks in the near future for an event.
So this is going to be like a thing where we could see it going to like a new track every year.
So we could do that for the 600, or we could just have their own standalone events. So we're kind of like in the early Pixar years, like we don't want to put out too many sequels. We kind of just want to get our own standalone stuff. Our first sequel for an event will actually be the Florida 500. We did one in August. And it was kind of based off Cars 3. I'm a Pixar nerd. I'm a Disney nerd. And I just like the Cars franchise. So we're doing the Florida 500 with the next gens in February. But with the World 600, if this is a success, I would like to keep it at Daytona as like an end of the year type of deal. Like at the end of every year, we have the World 600 at Daytona. But I'm always open to new opportunities and changes. Like, for instance, maybe Charlotte gets better. And all of a sudden, hey, we go to Charlotte, or we found a really good car track combo with Indianapolis. And you know what? Let's go to Indianapolis. So it's always open for change. But right now we want to make sure we find something that the viewers love and the viewers will come back to if we decide to do it again.
I love that. So obviously I want to talk a little more about the World 600 as, we get towards the end of the show, but I feel like this is a perfect opportunity just to go ahead and say, you mentioned you're a Pixar nerd. You just got to keep grinding hard so you can get Owen Wilson to commentate a race as Lightning McQueen and then make it happen.
Oh, I'd love to get him to do at least something like a cameo for a race one day. That's awesome. I would love that.
Yeah. Like I would get him to mix Wedding Crashers quotes with Lightning McQueen. It would not be for the kids by any means, but it would be pretty fun.
Or even to get him to race. I mean, just have a mid-race interview with him.
Oh yeah, dude, all the way. We love Owen Wilson, the best broke nose guy in the world. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. So I learned a little bit more about you personally. You started out, you were into kind of like console gaming, and so you've recently made this move into iRacing, and you're doing your streams on YouTube. What kind of brought this up? I mean, obviously you're a little bit younger than me. There's a little bit of a generational gap, and I've been learning so much about Twitch and the video game space, but there's a huge difference, I feel like, between console gaming and iRacing and where that all is centered at. So what kind of made you make that transition? What got you started into this thing and, just in general?
Honestly, I just felt limited to what I can do. I mean, on the console side, you can't really add in third-party overlays to an event that you would like to hold on Project Cars 2, on NASCAR Heat. And I was watching the way the Heat games were working, and I was watching, this new step into NASCAR 21. And honestly, from the jump, I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth, if I'm going to be 100% honest. Like right around May, I was like, something's not right. Something is not right at all with the engine they're using, with the people that are possibly working on the game. At least from rumors that I heard, people were basically telling me that you were with our factory, like, hey, this engine, it's meant for road course racing. So NASCAR is not strictly oval, but most of the tracks in NASCAR are oval based. So if you're going to make a video game that uses an engine that's mainly for road course racing, there's a good chance it's not going to be a good game. And some people don't understand, there hasn't been a good NASCAR game for a while. The last, at least in my opinion, decent NASCAR game was NASCAR Heat 4. NASCAR E5 was a copy and paste E4, but it was the last, I want to say, decent playable game that people would play throughout its whole cycle. Got burnt out, but they were able to play it through the cycle. I didn't want to take that risk of NASCAR 21 being a letdown, which now we already see. And my channel kind of being stuck on the dead end when it comes to the algorithm, when it comes down to viewership, when it comes down to, I guess you could say people caring about NASCAR console gaming. I saw it going in a direction that it was going to be, I want to say outdated, but kind of like an outcast to where iRacing is. Because we saw when the pandemic happened, where did NASCAR go? They didn't go console gaming. They went right to iRacing because they knew they could do so much with it. And when watching that race at Homestead on iRacing, that was my first, hey, this is really cool. I've always known about iRacing, even when I was like 14, 15. It just never fit me personally because at the time I was more of an arcade, gaming fan, big fan of Call of Duty. I didn't really hate the Heat games that much just because at the time I didn't really want a full simulator aspect. But, growing up, I liked the idea of the simulator. Little by little in 2020, towards the end of it, I started doing NR 2003 on the PC. And when I started doing that, I would commentate those races. So I'd get the AIs to run around the track. I would commentate the races like it's a real race, and people loved it. They absolutely loved it. And then I started looking at those ratings and I was like, man, they're doing way better than NASCAR Heat. They're doing way better than GTA. They're doing way better than what I did on the console side. We might have something here. Come 2021, NASCAR E5, it's dead in the water. Completely dead in the water. They're not talking about NASCAR 21 that much. That was Motorsport Games. And I started thinking, shouldn't this game be releasing in July, maybe August or September? If it's going to be a really, really good game, I think they would want to talk about it pretty early, kind of like what Hot Wheels did with their game. And that's a masterpiece, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Like they started talking like a new Hot Wheels game.
Yeah, it's like you race the little actual Hot Wheels cars on like a track. And for me, it's nostalgia based because I remember going to Walmart and seeing the Hot Wheels stuff, the NASCAR stuff, and you race it. I'm like, hey man, this game doesn't release for like 8 months and they're having content creators play it already. Look at this game. It's amazing. And I started thinking, why aren't Motorsport Games doing this? And I started thinking, there's a good chance this game might be a letdown. You can't always go in expecting a game to be 110%. You got to stay humble. You got to understand there's a good chance some things just don't go the way they're expected. So next thing I knew, NASCAR NR 2003 started picking up more traction. People liked it. And then some people are saying, hey, try out iRacing. Try out iRacing. I'm like, okay, I'll try it out iRacing. I started racing with it a little bit. Viewers didn't really like it that much of me actually driving. They obviously from NASCAR 2003 though ate up when I commentated the races. So what I did was I was like, okay, let's bring the aspect of NR 2003, bring it to iRacing. Let's see if it works. Because with iRacing, the driver is in control. It's not an AI on a track. The drivers are in control. They have a personality. If they want to go out and wreck someone, they're going to do it. There might be consequences, but they will do it. If they want to go out and pass someone, they will do it. If they want to put it all on the line, they will. And then that personality alone from the drivers through iRacing with me commentating, being severely upbeat with it, it just started eating people up. They're like, they love it. More and more started coming in. And then it got to the point where like, okay, we have something here. Let's go ahead and add overlays. Let's add overlays. Let's see if people like the overlays. They love the overlays. And then it just started becoming a snowball effect of innovation, change, improving, trying to go ahead and make it as understanding to the casual viewer as possible. Because some people come in and they'll just say, what is this? Because they'll hit the algorithm really well. What is this? What's this racing? In my opinion, racing is simple when you look at the bare bones part of it. And that's what we went with. There's a set amount of laps. The race starts. The driver who crosses the line first after that set amount of laps will win the race. And we kept it exactly to that. Now, there'll be wrecks. There'll be times they have to pit. There'll be times where strategy will come in. Some drivers will get inconsistent. They'll lose time. They'll gain time. And we started feeding that to viewers. And for some, they said it felt real. Like it was amazing how they were just stuck watching this race they'll go from scrolling through YouTube to stuck watching races for 2 or 3 hours on the stream. And that's when we realized we got something here with iRacing. We got to stick with it. We got to go full on in with it. Like, we'll do videos on 21, but we got to go full on in with this, events, everything 110%. And now here we are in December, getting ready to talk about the 4th e-ticket event.
Yeah, man. So there's a lot to unpack from all that. Like, for one, I think your passion is there, like 100%.
Oh yeah.
I started kind of getting into the whole, I watching the iRaces and things like that when we had a good buddy of ours that goes by Moonhead. He does it over on Twitch. And I think that the fact that you are kind of leaving out of the Twitch space and starting this over on the YouTube space is what's really cool about it. Because obviously there's two different types of viewers, right? You get your Twitch viewers, you have your YouTube viewers, and there's some that kind of mix in between. With what Moonhead's doing over there, there's definitely like some comedy aspects in his broadcasting. He's got people that are just kind of coming in, just causing these just massive crashes and wrecks. He's doing F1 at Daytona. He's doing, Indy cars at Talladega. Like, he's just all over the place. And I love that aspect of it, just seeing just some of the wildest stuff. So what is something that, other than the platform change, what is something that your product is giving that is kind of either complementing his or that is, completely different from what he's doing?
So, I mean, I think you hit it perfectly. I've watched Travis a lot. I really like what Moonhead does over there. His viewers are very passionate about what he does. And I knew right from the jump, I'm like, you know what? We're not going to do what Moonhead does. What Moonhead does is amazing. It fits his style. It fits his viewers. I want to go for a more professional standpoint. And like, our version of chaos was taking Formula One on the Daytona road course. Like, that was like, whoa, that's a big step for us, because we're like very entwined with NASCAR. Now, the drivers are known for getting out there. We have had beef with other drivers. Like, we've had drivers go at it. We've had drivers, go ahead and do crazy and stupid stuff. But at the end of the day, we target things in a certain area. Like, yeah, I'll do Talladega. I'll do Daytona. I mean, people love Talladega and Daytona, but we will take Gen 4 to Indianapolis. We will take the car tomorrow to Auto Club. We will take the car tomorrow to Indianapolis. We will change things up, but stick within the NASCAR genre in North America. Like, we've been known for going north of the border to Canada from Montreal. We've been known for doing a road course tournament. I know we've been doing a lot of Daytona and Talladega recently, trying to get people to understand this package before the event. But right after this event, we're going to do a lot more car tomorrow, a lot more grassroots, super lates at some of these tracks that a lot of people don't know about. And even possibly Formula One night in America, or F1 night in America, where we just go to F1 tracks, or US based road courses in America, just take the F1 car there. We have a certain set or a certain mindset that Moonhead doesn't have. And it's not good. It's not bad. It's just, we're down a different path of what we want to do. Like, for instance, you can tune into Moonhead's races for 5 or 10 minutes, then tune into NR9 in America, and you can have your opinion of what you like better or what you don't like better. And that's totally your opinion. But you can see that they're two different forms of racing, I want to say, because I would never have thought of taking dirt late models to Talladega. And I saw that race and it was cool. In my opinion, it was cool, but that's just something that we don't want to go down. His mindset, for at least what I believe from what I've seen, so it depends on if you want to take my word for it, is a little bit more chaotic. We are like, okay, let's not do that. It's not a bad thing, but we don't want to do that because most of our viewers like, or at least our hardcore viewers like, the idea of sometimes the race gets spread out. Sometimes the best driver just goes out and win with high horsepower or low horsepower, or just, they understand the package the best and they go out there and win. Green flag pit stop strategy comes in. They understand certain drivers race a certain way, and we'll go ahead and pinpoint that at an intermediate like Chicagoland, or an intermediate like Las Vegas or Homestead with Xfinity. And it might not rack in 500, 600 watching at the end like Daytona or Talladega, but it'll still rack in a good amount of viewership that are hardcore towards NR9 America, because they just love that type of racing. Like, for instance, we took Gen 4 at like USA, and we had, I want to say, about a 80 lap green flag run And for some, they would consider that boring. But for the majority of my viewers, they liked that idea because they knew it was a chance for some of these guys to play a strategy. Talladega with the next gens, we only had 2 cautions. And the first caution came out on lap 4. Everyone had a pit and strategy came in. I look at how many people are watching. There's 530 watching this. They ate up strategy. And that's something that is really difficult to get people to like on iRacing, because some people see iRacing as a video game. I see iRacing as an opportunity to showcase NASCAR and racing to new viewers. And we've done a really good job at, from what I've seen, attracting new NASCAR fans. Like at the end of a stream, I'll get a bunch of people to say, you know, I don't watch NASCAR. I don't do any of this stuff. I love what you do.
Yeah, that's
I don't know
huge.
how you just got me into this, but you just got me into this. And I would take that as a compliment, because for someone that watched NASCAR their entire life, to just host a race that some people see as a video game, some see as a sim, to then get people into racing in general, I think that's a huge compliment for
That's a
what NR9
dub.
America has turned into.
Yeah, that's a dub, man. And we appreciate too. Like, I mean, I love what you do on the aspect of how close you make your in our night in America streams like an actual like race you're watching on television. The fact that you have the overlays, like we've had the pleasure to have 2 of our garage guys commercials
Yeah.
on in our night in America, and watching those, and like I swear to God, like the first one I watched when Dale was telling me about it, I see his video that he made, and I'm looking at the screen and I'm like, is this on TV? Like, is this guy got this on television? Because like it literally was side by side, the race is still going on and there's an ad right there, and I'm like, this is just like TV. Like, and so I think that those are some of the minor differences that are they're a little bit different between, like, you know, y'all's products, talking about like between you and Moonhead. But I love the fact that you're going for it in that light, because it's definitely adds the different element and it makes it more realistic, like you're saying. And that's why you have these people that are going to end up watching what you do, then say, well, we want to go check out what's happening at the real tracks. We want to get out to the races. We want to be there, you know. And I think that opens up this whole new world of what our future is going to look like with auto racing, you know, because I'm a big fan and a big advocate of saying, find a way to stream the races and give the people power to choose who they want to commentate their race. I think that that's something that should be implemented in the future, and something where you could pay a content creator, you know, you buy their broadcast for, you know, $2.99, $5.99, whatever, and then you get to listen to your favorite person that has signed up to do it call a race. There's so many different things you can do with it. And you know, I don't want to drift too far off the topic of you know, World 600 and everything that we're talking about here, but I just wanted to just conversate with you quickly, like on the future of this. We got into a conversation about it last night, this whole idea with the metaverse and where this could head into the future of like how this changes people watching racing. I mean, like obviously that's something that we're all learning about now. We're all trying to kind of see where this is going to go. But I mean, how do you see this impacting NASCAR and Formula One and IndyCar, you know, in the next 10 to 15 years?
Honestly, I think the way gaming, or at least the simulation side of things for racing, has just started. Like, honestly, I think we're at the beginning of a huge renaissance. I honestly say it all the time. iRacing's in a renaissance. If you look back to what iRacing was 2 or 3 years ago, it does not have the hype or the traction it has right now. Granted, it probably had more because of the pandemic in 2020, but I still don't think iRacing peaked at all. And it's going to continue to get bigger, because the thing is, at least on my standpoint, people say, hey, why do you do this certain way? Because I have positive reviews and negative reviews, and we listen to both sides so we can continue to improve. What I did was I would watch these races all the time. And I know from a personal standpoint what I liked about the broadcast, what I don't like about the broadcast, and we implemented that. For instance, you talked about when you guys had the commercial, correct? What did you see from that? The commercial, yes, the track, but you also had the overlays on the
Yeah, it
top
looked
saying who
real.
was in what spot. And then we would do it when pit road, you know, pit sequences were happening. So on the bottom, you could see who was on pit road and how much time they were on pit road for. And the thing what is, I look at Formula One as well, and it's like, man, they really get you in depth with these overlays. Like a race could be boring in Formula One, and they will do a nice camera pan zoom, and you would just get Max Verstappen standing there, you know, showing his stats off. I think that is so cool. And I think that's what NASCAR is missing. And we're doing a our best to use the overlays to our advantage. At the same time, use the commentating aspect to have the viewers understand what's going on, because a spread out race should not be considered a bad race. If a leader just got it and checks out by 4 seconds, the viewers need to know why he did that. Why is he just gone? How did he do it? And that's what we're doing. And at the same point, now back to the future, the metaverse is going to be big. It's just going to be big. Whether you like it or not, that's the future. At least in my opinion. This is not financial advice, by the way, before anyone decides to go and invest into it. But from my standpoint, I believe it's the future. And I've done so much research on it that I want to invest one day into making a racetrack in the metaverse. And my first one that comes to mind is Decentraland. I think Decentraland, as of right now, is the oldest metaverse. And it's the most well-known from what I know. Sandbox is pretty good too, but I've been in Decentraland and I've seen the potential. You know, you look at it right now, you're like, you know, the graphics aren't good or not as good compared to a AAA product that you would see on PlayStation or Xbox. But you can see that people are buying it with cryptocurrency. They're buying NFTs in there that you can wear. They're buying land that they can build. I mean, I've been to casinos in Decentraland. I've been to houses. Some of my friends, they own houses in Decentraland. They own plots. And I would not be surprised where it gets to a point where my kids, even your kids, one day will say, hey, Dad, I'm going to a race. I'll say, where? In Decentraland. And they literally go to a racetrack. And it could be a sports betting racetrack where they bet cryptocurrency and a race happens, or it could just be a virtual race, kind of like how the Jetsons were robots for football, you know, and they go there, they have fun with their friends and they watch a race. Now, granted, I don't think this is where racing will go completely, but I think this is going to be a huge standpoint where it will be a very common thing come 2030, 2040. And I'm honestly ready for it because I love that idea of, hey, there's a race in 10 minutes. Let's hop on Decentraland. Let's hop on a metaverse site. Let's all go in there. Let's go watch the race. Let's bet. Let's bet, cryptocurrency on who we think is going to win, over, under, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, like a virtual Dover or whatever, where you have like the casino by it. It's scary. It's scary on some degree, I guess. Like, I was a kid growing up. I was a big sci-fi kid. So I always loved the future and the thought of the future, flying cars, all that stuff, all that jazz. And I'm big on that. I've been seeing what Airspeeder's doing right now with their stuff, where they had this article come out about they were going to do flying car races. And, me and Cody F. and Powers, he's one of our good buddies. He was on the show with me, and we do this thing called NASCAR, where we talk of, we'll make up conspiracy theories and whatever, just that are out of thin air. And we did one about flying cars and how aliens actually gave us race cars. And then the next thing you know, Adam Stern's putting a tweet out about, flying car. And we're like, we told you it's real, so the future is just unlimited, man. And I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, people are going to be tapping into this thing like the Matrix, dude. Like, it's got a lot of potential, and there's always going to be fears with it. And just, putting that much control yourself, basically turning yourself into a human data sheet to some corporation is always going to be freaky. But like you're saying, when it's decentralized, it can be, that's kind of like the hope to where you keep things privatized, like down the road. But just as far as racing goes, I think it'd be cool as shit. And that's it gives people that don't have the means to or the talent, I guess, maybe to grow that way. It gives them that open floor to where you can do those things. And I think that betting in general is something that that is growing now with this. Like, it's now that it's legal, it's becoming this huge thing, and betting with cryptocurrency is just going to get bigger. And I think that it's time that we start looking into getting into betting on iRacing itself, finding, a way to do that. And those are some ideas and things that we're working on over here at Garage Guys, because we want people to be able to, not just bet on the sports that, DraftKings or FanDuel or any of those are giving you. We want auto racing to be more, acceptable and all over the board with all racing, real and virtual, because we know that in order for auto racing to climb that ladder and get back to where it was in the 90s and stuff, you've got to have something that's going to pique the masses' interest. You don't have Dale or Jeff out there anymore. But with fantasy and betting on the rise and how much that's built the NBA and NFL, it can do the same thing for racing. It just has to be more open source. And I love what you're saying too about the overlays and the graphics. Our attention spans have shrunken to this minimum because these cell phones and everything else. I sound like a boomer right now, but it's the truth. It's like they've shrunken. So you got to be able to keep people just glued in, and it's tough. So I think you do a great job at that, man.
Thank you. And you brought up betting. We've gotten info from certain viewers that they have betted on the races before. So yeah, like
okay,
I had to say something mid-race. I said, listen, depending on the outcome, we're not liable for anything because I don't want a caution to come out and you made a bet with your friend and all of a sudden, you lose that money. I just want to let you know we're not liable for anything that happens because
I've talked to Moonhead really about that one too. And so that's something that's tough for you guys. So y'all have to start putting we're gonna have to make some disclaimers for you guys or something. We'll put something out there. But
I remember I called a caution and someone got so mad because they betted on TCB to win. TCB hit, TCB didn't win. And he was so pissed off because he would bet with his friends. And I don't know how they did it, but I would see in the chat, I would just say, listen, I'm not liable for anything. Make your bets the way you want, but I am not liable for anything. But it still does happen. I see it's not really as frequent as I saw it over the summer, but they still do happen. And I would love for one day, even garage guys to have like a betting pool for these events, or even just any type of like, a licensed bets for these streams as well. Because I think that's so cool. I love sports betting. I think it's a really awesome market. And I think if NASCAR really taps into it even more, people are going to get into it. Because like what you said, the attention span. Now it'll give people reason to root for a certain driver and get out by 5, 6, 7 seconds. Because that now gives them the opportunity of, oh, this isn't a boring race. I'm about to make money. And to be honest, who doesn't like making money?
It's a selfish world, man. And when you make something about yourself, especially with your money, people are going to be a lot more inclined. Like last night, I'm up watching a Suns Clippers game. I mean, I don't like either of those teams, but I had money on it, so I'm watching it. And that's the same concept. And I think that NASCAR is finally come around to that. F1 odds suck. Let's be real. It's just not even fun betting on that. So with NASCAR, it's all plus odds. And it's the same thing. I mean, the ovals definitely bring out that factor. You just don't know. Anything can happen. So it makes what we do even more fun and even more exciting when we win, because it's just literally a 1 unit bet could win you thousands in a day. And we had it happen to us multiple times last season. So it was especially at the Dover Casino. I'll never forget the Alex Bowman bet, man. Like going into the casino, putting real money down. And it's not all virtual on my phone. And I go take the slip in, and then they give me cash, and I'm just holding it. And I'm just like, this is amazing. This is a victory. I did a parlay that day, a head-to-head parlay. It hit, and the Bowman. Oh, dude, it was just a great day. Loved over. Can't wait to go back. But you're talking about betting now. So obviously, again, so where can everybody watch? This stream is going to be on your YouTube channel?
Yes. Right now, we've always experienced or try to experiment with streaming on other platforms with YouTube. But right now, just with the way licensing is with Twitch and us not trying to hurt the quality of the YouTube streams, right now it's just strictly on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/IDK Player, or go to YouTube, type in IDK Player in the search bar. It will be the first one. And come Friday, December 17th, second click on that channel, the World 600 should be right in front of your face.
Boom. You can watch it on your television, on the YouTube app. You can watch it on your computer. You can watch it on your phone. Can you watch it in the metaverse?
Not as of right now, but I'd love to one day own an area where I could just put a stream up. But
there we go. If you have Google VR,
that's a little bit later down the line.
I'm
sorry?
I was saying, if you have Google VR, you can watch it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, YouTube should have that where you can you can go build a little cereal box and make you a little phone thing. You can watch it like that. And obviously Dale Tanhart's going to be racing the 81 Hooters to Go Garage Guys Chevrolet. Can't wait to watch that either. We'll be doing a little stream as well on the side. We want everybody to go check out the main event that IDK Player is going to have hosted too, but then, check in here and there and see what Dale's got going on. Get 2 screens On your TV, have
we've
IDK
had people
Player?
do that.
That's
When
the way to
content
do it.
creators race.
That's the way
And
to
I
do
will
it.
say one thing about Dale. I want to point this out so the viewers know. We've seen him test. All these guys are testing nonstop, trying to understand this aero package because we talked about it before. This aero package is not what they're used to seeing on iRacing. You got to side draft. You got to work with people. You got to tandem draft. You got to know when to pit. And Dale has been the fastest learner so far from what we've seen. We've seen him be a bottom feeder to making that move on the outside when the time is right and just shooting to the front. So right now he's going in as an underdog, but he is one of the top underdogs that a lot of people are looking out for just because we have made it very public that he is the one that has learned the most. He is the one that has turned from, I guess you could say, trying to understand it to getting that run. The opportunity strikes. He's going to the top. He's side drafting. He wants to win. It's clear as day he wants to win.
Oh,
yeah,
these
tests.
Yeah. He does not like to lose, man. I've seen that guy lose. It's not a fun time. Yeah, we're gonna try to make sure he wins 100%. So I think he's an artist with his craft, man. He's constantly gonna try to figure out how something works as fast as possible to have this edge on it. So love the guy for that. And
it's win or go home. You know, it's you either win $600 or you get nothing. Second place gets absolutely nothing. We've seen in these test races, at least the last three we did 3 wide finish for the last 3, I believe, except for one where it was side by side, and they would come down to 1/1000ths, 2/1000ths of a second. It's crazy thinking that, dang, in these test races, if that's how the 600 ends, that's one person winning 600 and the other going with empty pockets. And I think that's where you're going to start seeing some guys possibly get a little desperate late in the race and try to nudge people out of the way.
Well, it's gonna be nasty. I'm ready to watch it. I can't wait, and I'm going to be tuned in as well. I don't know whether I'm going to actually go to Dale's to watch it because I know he's going to be zoned in. I'm probably going to have to help build him like a box around his computer rig because I would be fucking with him, and it probably wouldn't be good because I'll be talking and trying to do things. But he's going to have our guy Cody Powers spotting for him. So that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. It's going to be fun, man. The way that this has been talked about and hyped up and seeing how excited he is for it, that definitely makes me anxious and ready to go. So I'll be doing some fun stuff. Might even put out a little fake betting video. You know, we did one for Mooncar 24. So I might have to do one for the World 600. Just love the name. Just World 6. It's just great. Like it reminds me of Cruising World. Just want to go play some Cruising World on N64, you know? So it's good, man. I love that. And I reckon we're going to go ahead and let you get back to, I know you got a lot of stuff that you got to keep doing and get prepared for. And where can everybody follow you at everywhere online?
So you can follow me on Twitter. You can just go to IDK Player. You just go ahead and type it in. I should be popped up. You should see the question mark with the lightning in the background. Actually, no, Twitter. Wrong. You'll see a dude with a blue shirt. And that will be me. I believe it's an American flag next to my name. On Instagram, you can follow me at IDK Player as well. And on YouTube, it is just IDK Player.
All right, well, that's all we've got. Thanks so much for tuning in. Do not miss the World 600 on IDK Player's YouTube this weekend. And this is a good garage talk. Thanks so much for being on the show, man. And we will see you on Friday.
Gonna be fun. 8:00 Eastern.
All right, let's go. All right, Garage fam, take care.
It's the Garage Guys. 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 It's the Garage Guys.